2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like Divine 3 now, so it's definitely helped
Nice,
there.
nice.
And like the big things that he can that I learned is not really like mid specific, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are, but now I think uh I was like basically trying to get more coaching from him or for someone else, and then I decided that actually let me see if there are some like bit more mid-focused people in the website, and then like I saw your name there, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I decided let's try it out, see how it goes.
All right. Uh, sounds good. Well, obviously, like I have my own process, so I don't know what you guys have done, but I'll just take you through it. Um, I will be teaching you stuff both for mid specifically, but also for like generally how to look at the game, how
Hmm.
you wanna approach things, and how to have the highest possible impact from your role. Um, Also, you see my style of coaching is like I don't like to tell people, do this, don't do that, right? Just give them specific rules. Instead,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be asking you a lot of questions, right? And trying to basically get you to reach the answer yourself, right? Um, and this method, it's a little bit slower, but you learn the things in a more thorough way, right? And you remember
Yep.
them a lot better.
Yeah, I see.
All right. So the match ID you sent me. So we're gonna basically use the replay as an example, right? I'm gonna be explaining some stuff, and we're just using the replay as an example for the stuff that I'm saying. So it's not just in theory. Um, so I'm gonna share screen with you just a sec. Also, with every new student, I make a Google Doc where we keep track of everything we're doing. So I'm gonna send you the link, and you can edit it as well. But for now, you can just follow along on my screen.
Cool.
Like I've coached a lot of people, and in my experience, like the number one reason why somebody doesn't improve or doesn't improve as much as they would like to is because they try to work on 20 different things at the same time, right? And then you end up not actually accomplishing anything. So that's why it's very important to have like a focus and to know exactly, like what you're actually working on. Um, and that's where this pre-written stuff, it's kind of dividing the game into topics a little bit. Now, obviously, Dota is super complicated, right? So there's gonna be
Yeah.
exceptions to everything, but this is just like a starting point. Yeah. So let's go through them real quick. So we got mechanics, which for most people are fine. It's like the most simple thing, and it's not an issue, except for the first part, right? Camera control,
Hmm.
which almost everybody can improve at and can do a better job of. So that's something we're
Yeah,
gonna see from your player perspective in the replay.
yeah. One thing about camera control is that I use this WASD for camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding, I don't. So I
Okay.
don't.
No, by the way,
Yeah,
there are some pro
yeah,
players that use that
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I saw like a big Reddit thread about it.
Yeah, I think Matuma Man uses that, and you know he's a pretty successful player.
Mm,
So it's
yeah, yeah. I would say
hotkeys.
so.
No such things as good or bad hotkeys, right? As long
Yeah, yeah,
as
for sure,
it
for
works for
sure.
you. Uh, but yeah, I mean the main thing I mean with camera control is basically all the information on the map that you could get that you are getting it, right? So like clicking on enemies, keeping track of what they have, etc. Um, then we have game plan, right? This is what most people ask about, right? Especially when it comes to a role. Like I get all these questions all the time, right? Like, as a mid, when should I gank? When should I not gank? When should I stay in the lane? Blah blah. And the answer is always the same, right? It depends. That's
Yeah,
why the game is interesting because there's no plan that works every time. And what does it depend on then? that is basically this whole last part, right? The strategy. This is where, we talk about drafts, we talk about hero matchups, skill builds, item builds, basically everything that you can also learn outside of the game as well. And all of this knowledge, how you use it and put it into practice, that's your game plan, which is basically how you execute in the game. Use your knowledge of strategy to form a game plan. Yeah. All right. So generally for the first lesson, I recommend replay analysis, so I get to know you a bit as a player. I see what your strengths and weaknesses are, and we mostly focus on this, right, to kind of get the foundation, your strategy knowledge, and then work from there. I'll be writing down a bunch of important notes, quote unquote rules. So yeah, let's check out this replay. So playing Void Spirit here. Interesting. Now, good place to start. Picture this game, right? When was this? This was a couple days ago. Right, so you queue for this game, right? You queue mid, and you get into the game. Everybody picks their hero, right? And now, after you see all the picks, you have about 2 minutes before the creep spawn and the game actually starts, right? So what are you normally thinking about in these 2 minutes?
Thinking about warding, and I try to check what items we have, and if we see enemies, I try to check their items too.
Okay.
And then a little bit about how my lane is going to go. What items am I going to build and stuff like this.
Okay, so basically, yeah, we call this whole thing a pre-game thought checklist, right?
Yep.
It's basically warding, items of allies, laning, item build. All right, that's more or less it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not bad. It's a good start, but it's not enough, basically. All right, so we gotta add some things here, and now we're gonna spend 5 to 10 minutes talking about this, which you don't have that much time in the game, but as you do this more and more often, you'll get used to it and you'll be able to do it quicker and quicker. Yeah. So the first major question that you gotta ask yourself is it's pretty simple. You wanna look at both lineups and think which team has the better late game. Right. And sometimes it can be a little bit close. And if that's the case, you want to look at not just, how strong the heroes are in theory, but also how easy they are to execute and to play, right? Because, this is not pro teams, it's solo queue, right? So there's going to be mistakes, and the heroes that are easier to play always have a bit of an advantage. So what do you think about this game?
I think that we have slight advantage. We have Medusa is pretty strong late game. I think it's stronger than Ursa, for example. And our supports, they scale a bit better. Well, Ogre because amplifies the carry, and that's it. That's what I think right now.
So it's even-ish, but Medusa is a bit better than Ursa, and your supports. Well, Ogre is offlane here, right? So your supports are.
Okay, yeah, I didn't remember was Ogre offlane, but I would say late game scenario, Disruptor would be better than for example Shadow Shaman.
And Jakiro. Well, it's kind of close, I would say. Disruptor. I'd say support-wise, Disruptor plus Lion versus Jakiro Shaman. It's even-ish. Lion and Shaman are obviously quite similar, right, with their disables. Their supports have building damage though, Yours don't. That's like one major difference. And well, the only way that Disruptor really scales late game is with Ags. But yeah, I would agree. It mostly favors you. I mean, you have Medusa. That's like a late game trump card, so to speak. It's definitely good against melee heroes like Ursa. In general, Ursa doesn't match up very well against Medusa. The Invoker, he scales pretty well, but so do you. Yeah. And obviously Invoker requires good execution, right? So definitely your lineup is a lot easier to play. Alright, so that's the first question.
By the way, the stream quality is like super bad.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's I could try switching to. You're not gonna see the document, but then you could just. Do you have two screens?
Yep.
Yeah, you could just have the document open on the other screen then. You
Yeah,
see
I have
that
it
right
here.
there, and I'll try stream Dota 2 directly instead of screen share. I'm actually I'm paying for Discord Nitro, right, to get the higher quality, but I guess it doesn't always work. Or maybe it's about ping. I don't know.
Yeah, now it's perfect. I actually had like warning before that it was reduced due to like network condition or whatever.
Okay.
Like now seems to be okay.
Could have been some lag spike. I don't know. All right. Anyway, so the first
Yeah,
one, is which team has the better late game? All right, and this tells you basically like, are you playing on some timing, trying to hit some specific timing, or are you okay with kind of trading farm and letting the game go? The next question you want to ask yourself is a bit more specific. So, as a mid hero, right, you generally hit level 6 before everybody else, and you have a lot of kill potential, right? You're playing mid lane obviously, so you can rotate anywhere. Now the way I like to ask this question is, imagine, all right, take the enemy 3 cores, all right, Invoker, Ursa, and Kunkka. So imagine you have this red button in front of you for each one of them, all right, and if you press this button, that hero has a really bad start, right? Like starts off 0-5, right? But you can only press one of the 3. So which one would you choose?
Invoker.
Okay, Invoker. Why?
Because I think Ursa can always go back to jungle and then like recover.
Okay, and Invoker cannot.
Well, it can, but like for me, it's easier to snowball over. I would think so. It's easier to snowball over one Invoker than Ursa, and like I generally I like to have a good mid game, for example, and then if Ursa has good start anyways, I think the idea is that Ursa will try to just amplify like items and so on, while Invoker it will try to like mess the game a bit more. So like what I'm thinking is that Ursa doesn't really like control the tempo of the game, but Invoker does.
Okay, and you only talked about Ursa and Invoker. What about Kunkka then?
Well, I don't care about Kunkka, to be honest. I think in this role that he's playing, it should be like quite slow game for him anyways.
Okay, so
I might be totally wrong by this.
No worries. I mean, now let's expand on this a little bit. What is Ursa's game plan normally for the first 15 minutes or so? Right, if he is having an average game.
Try to get items to start farming.
Yeah, pretty much just farm, right? What if Ursa has a bad start?
Well, it will delay the farm.
But what is his plan then?
I don't. Well, if I play Ursa, let's say, then I have bad start. My idea is try to find whatever farm I can in the map and try to avoid fights, for example.
Yeah, so it's still to farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the case with pretty much any carry. It's not just about Ursa, but the position 1 will farm no matter what. So that's why giving them a bad start doesn't really impact the game too much. Okay, what is Invoker's plan generally for the first 15 minutes?
Well, yeah, it kind of depends a little bit. Like some invokers they try to farm, some invokers they try to get this early or whatever and try to just roam the map and gank.
Well, it depends
After
on
that,
Quas Vex or Quas Exort, right? I mean, it might as well be a different hero actually.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's a Quas Exort Invoker, right? What is?
Yeah. So the idea would be like to farm too.
Okay, and if he has a bad start on a Quas Exort Invoker, what does he do then?
Well, again, he will try to farm, but he has a bit more like. I think he's a bit more useful without a good start than Ursa, for example. I think he can play a bit more with less items than Ursa, let's say.
I mean, he can throw Sunstrikes. I mean, that's about it. But yeah, it's more than Ursa does without items, that's for sure. Okay. And lastly, what is Kunkka's normal game plan if the game is regular for him, offlane Kunkka?
I don't really know about offlane Kunkka. When I play Kunkka, I usually play Kunkka mid, and then I try to farm a little bit and gank whenever I have both up, but I don't actually know the answer for this one.
Okay, I mean, offlane has less farm priority than mid, right? So if you farm a little bit and then gank as a mid, then probably, farm even less a gank than as an offlane, right?
Or yeah, maybe... I guess with this lineup, I would maybe focus on like teaming up with Jakiro and Shadow Shaman. They it's pretty good pushing lineup, I think.
Yes.
And then with these three, like just get together, try to push towers with wards and Jakiro E.
Yes, yeah. And generally, right, offlaners, particularly melee strength heroes, Kunkka is not the most typical one, but still, he's melee, he's strength, right? These heroes, like, what do they do? What are they?
Like they usually frontline fighting.
Exactly, right? They're frontliners, yes. Yeah. So that's Kunkka's plan. Now imagine the Kunkka starts off 0-5. What is his game plan then?
Yeah, I see. So it messes up his game plan because he can't frontline. I mean, he's already pretty in bad shape.
Exactly, right? So what would he most likely do then?
Well, he could farm, but then he's stealing farm from the two other cores.
Yeah, so the point here is pretty much that, this is kind of an interesting case because the mid is also farming. Generally, it's just the safe laner farming. But, yeah, if the hero's gonna farm, like, you killing them doesn't actually change their game plan, right? They're still gonna farm. It doesn't really impact the game much. But a hero that, roams, ganks, frontlines, etc. If you kill them 5 times, then all of a sudden they can't execute their game plan that well, right? Their game plan changes, right? And if they also go farm, then all of a sudden the enemy team has, too many people farming and they can't really make moves. So that impacts the game more. Now, last part to this, so you kind of understand what we're getting at here is, let's take this game, right? You don't want this Ursa to just, AFK farm at Battlefield. You don't want to play against him late game. Even though you have the better late game, right? You don't want to just let him farm whatever he wants. So how do you prevent that?
In my head now, what comes to mind is that I want to put pressure as soon as possible.
Okay. And what does that mean, putting pressure?
Like trying to fight, I mean. If we are constantly winning team fights because Ursa is in the jungle farming, then we can, like, for example, force some towers and take control of the jungle, something like this.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, it's not about the fights, it's about the towers, right?
Yeah. Like I mean,
fights.
taking map control.
Exactly. You take map control by taking towers, right? And the fights are just something that, you know, ends up leading to the towers. But the towers are the main thing. That's what gets you map control. That's how you prevent them from farming. And now, imagine, right? So, okay, imagine you establish this, right? They have, and I mean, this game is even more like kind of a extreme case, but so they have, you know, Ursa and an Exort Invoker. So you're like, okay, we gotta take some towers, right? Take map control so they don't just farm everything. So you guys group up to push a tower. Now, which core is most likely to come and defend?
Kunkka, I think.
Definitely Kunkka, yes. Because they actually have two farmers, right? So it kind of has to be Kunkka. I mean, if you look at items also, Invoker with
Midas travels.
Yeah, or I mean Midas brown boots here at this minute still, and Ursa with brown boots and like broadsword. They don't want to defend, right? It has to be Kunkka. So therefore, it doesn't matter if, you know, Ursa or Invoker have bad games. It's not going to be any easier for you to take towers. But if Kunkka has a bad game, he's the guy defending their towers. Alright, so it's going to be much more difficult for him to do that, and it's going to be easier for you to take towers. Alright, so basically, what we're saying here is which enemy core focus. So not the farming core. The core that is most likely to defend towers. Active core / frontliner. And now with these two questions, like this already forms a huge part of your game plan. Alright, you know that, okay, we have the better late game, so we're not necessarily pressured to make stuff happen. But obviously you still want to take map control, you don't want to let the enemy free farm. Your voice spirit, you want to be active. You don't want to trade farm with the Midas Evoker, so you want to get some early towers, and the best way to do that is to make sure the enemy Kunkka doesn't have a great game, because he's the guy that's going to be defending towers. Now this guy also went for a very strange build. I mean, Travels Rush, like they essentially, you know, they double Travels and Battle Fury. It's like so greedy. But in this case, I mean, he's naturally quite tanky on Kunkka. He has double Bracer.
Yeah.
And Travels basically allows him to always be there to defend towers. So again, kind of a strange item choice, but he's second highest net worth, right, at 11-12 minutes, and that's not what you want, right? No matter what he buys, it's not going to be good for you, obviously, right? Because he's the guy defending these towers. Yeah. So all this in mind, let's head into the replay now, and we could take a bit of a look at how it went, basically your first couple rotations, etc.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot from this game. What I remember is that we blame Ogre quite a lot, and Invoker had a big impact in the game, I think.
Yeah. So normally I mostly skip over the laning stage initially, not because it's not important, it is, but it's not the most important thing. If you want to focus on the laning stage, right, like going back to what I said at the start, it's important to focus on specific things and not just try to, you know, work on everything at the same time. So we could definitely, you know, work on laning stage specifically. We could do whole lessons of that. We could play 1v1s, etc. But initially, I would recommend, you know, to focus on this stuff, just because it's more likely to help you win games, right? Even if you always win the lane, because you practice the lane so much, if you don't know how to use that advantage, right, how to make moves, you're still gonna lose games.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm mostly gonna fast forward here, see if anything strange happened. You can also like go here and just check, yeah, network graph at 10 minutes. Yeah, Invoker was slightly ahead of you. Not by too much. So you decide to go for, 203, like Aether Remnant build. What was your reasoning, or
Well,
do you usually go that build, or?
No, I think usually I go 113, let's say.
Uh-huh.
And in this case, I'm thinking like, okay, I don't want to spend much money with W. He cannot. I don't have much to dodge with W. That was my thinking, I think.
Uh-huh.
And then I decided, okay, I'll not just skip W and then get one more point in Q.
Okay, but I mean, specifically against Invoker, right? Like, you see that it's Exort, he's playing with Force Spirit. It's actually one of the few heroes who can, block your Remnant, essentially. And just have the Force Spirit tank it. So, also, one of his weaknesses is lack of wave push, right? Until he actually gets some levels, gets the Meteor, he cannot control the wave very well. So that's where just having AoE damage to shove the wave can make things a lot easier for you.
Yeah, I think like one of the mistakes that I make is that I try to contest like mid lane farm, for example, and I know that there are some cases that it's just not worth it. You will not like win whatever battle you have, for example, against TA. If I'm playing like Puck versus TA, I think that's like very TA favored matchup. So I always try to like I want this guy not to farm, doesn't matter who he is. And for example, with Invoker, I try to like harass and try to out harass him, but of course it's Invoker, like he can just regen with Q.
So I mean, this is like, again, it depends on the matchup. But apart from like what you do, and we're gonna get to that in a little bit, also talk about items. For item and skill build, it's very important like why you go for something, right? It like almost no build is like, it's not necessarily wrong or right in itself. It depends like how you play with it. So for example, one advantage of this build is, well, it gives you good kill potential at level 6 to have an extra point to the Remnant. It's not really that different, but let's say that could be one reasoning. Because only when you have the ulti can you actually guarantee that the Remnant will land. But if that's the case, then you shouldn't really trade hits with him or fight too much early on. Here actually, I mean, you would have killed him if the Remnant hit, but it went on the creep instead.
Yeah.
It was really unlucky. Unfortunate. So it's also a good time to talk about items, and I'm gonna introduce this question to you, which helps you with choices for builds, right? Items and skill builds. Question to help them and skill builds. So every time you buy an item, right, or skill point, you gotta ask yourself, what can I do with this item that I cannot do without? Right, item / skill point. Now, this question is very important because not only, right, obviously if the answer is nothing, then it's a bad choice, right? But answering that also tells you how you should be playing, right? And what you should be doing. So in this case, right, like this is the better build to gank with, because you have, you know, more disable. Although, you know, the difference is not that huge, but let's say you have a bit more disable. So if your plan is to go ganking, then this skill build can be okay. But if, like you said, you're trying to stay on the lane and contest him, then it makes no sense, because you're better off maxing the simulate, right? You get AoE damage, you can shove the wave, kills Force Spirit easily, etc. So let's keep watching a little bit and see, you know, how you keep playing the lane, basically your first rotation. Alright, so you do get him here. It was kind of strange. Bad played out. Now farming some jungle. So you haven't left the lane yet, 9 minutes, even with the DD, and you farm jungle camps twice. Now, which spell is the best for farming the jungle as Void Spirit?
Dissimulate and W, I forgot the name of this.
For sure, right? Dissimulate.
What should I play mid right now?
So, if you're not prioritizing the Dissimulate, right, level 9, only 2 points in it, then you shouldn't be farming the jungle. Right? Again, it's not that the build is wrong necessarily, but because you're farming the jungle, that makes it wrong. And in the same way, if you... Well, it depends. I wouldn't say the opposite is true. Like, you can max Dissimulate and you still aren't forced to farm the jungle, because it also helps you shove the lane, yeah. But if you are not maxing Dissimulate, then you definitely shouldn't farm the jungle. Because extra points in this, I mean, look, you get 50 damage per level skilling this, whereas you get 80 damage per level skilling Dissimulate. Alright. What's the other reason then to skill the Resonant Pulse? Well, the shield goes up, which helps you tank. But, you know, the shield obviously is relevant when you're farming jungle, so...
Is it though? Okay, yeah, it is of course, because it doesn't hit hero, so it's super small shield.
Not just that, but also, like, what's limiting you for farming jungle is that you, like, your damage, right? You're not using this to tank the creeps, you're using this for damage, right? You're spamming bottles anyway, so you don't have problems sustaining your HP. It's your mana which is, like, the limiting factor. Alright, so here they push, and guys are setting up to defend. Give the creeps a little bit. Yeah, definitely you should not take the level 10 talent at level 10.
Okay.
A lot of times you don't really need the mana regen because you buy mana regen items, so that's fine. But, you know, 15 damage does very, very little for you compared to what the, you know, extra levels and the other spells do.
Yeah.
They both get their cooldown decreased significantly, so it's much better to max the spells first. Yeah,
Yeah, I never thought about that actually.
This is the case for a lot of level 10 talents, on a lot of mid heroes. Like, just extra levels and spells is generally more impactful. So yeah, it's 12 minutes and you haven't really, you know, left the lane, rotated. I mean, now you leave the lane to jungle and just lose the tower, but like you haven't actually, you know, made a move anywhere. You're rushing Orchid. So, we were talking about like, do you go for the Kunkka or the Invoker, right, to shut them down, but you didn't go really for the Invoker either, right? I mean, you fought a little bit, but it's not like you actually made a specific move. Yo, Herman, what should you play mid right now? Void Spirit still good. You know, DB. Puck is probably the best mid. So you're rushing Orchid, and now we can apply this. Okay, TP here. So let's. Now we can apply this question for the item build right to the Orchid. That's your first major item, right? You get the Orchid. So what can you do with Orchid that you cannot do without?
My answer
yeah,
would be
besides,
like solo supports.
Okay.
For example, like in this case, I can go like Shadow Shaman, and I know that I will not die to him, or I know that I can kill him for sure fast.
Okay, only the supports.
Well, in this case, kinda yes. I think Invoker at this point is he has had good start of the game, and I like in this game I would not think to kill him. Maybe it is possible, but like my plan right now is that okay, if I get Orchid now, then I start to look for farming supports.
Okay, it's not bad against the supports for sure. But I mean, you could probably kill Shaman without Orchid also. But yeah, it makes it a little bit safer. Invoker is a little bit hard to kill. Yeah, he's got Brain Drop and Wand, but you can definitely get him also if you use everything with Orchid properly. Maybe if you're a little bit higher level. But yeah, so Orchid is, I mean, it's always a good item pretty much because there are always going to be heroes that you can kill with Orchid and you cannot kill without Orchid.
Yep.
Right, that's basically what, when you're answering this question, you want to be specific. So, in this case, like your answer is good, yeah, you also say which hero you're looking to go for. So good. TP here, unfortunately, don't have the Orchid yet. But okay, you kill one support. Now your Orchid is arriving. Farm some camps. Play some wards. We're back to mid. Okay. So I'm gonna write down like one point here, and you can finish it. So the only reason to get a hero kill is what?
The only reason
To get a hero kill, yes.
Well, like there's more than one, I feel.
Okay,
but
tell me some reasons.
yeah, okay. So if I get the hero kill, then we have like direct advantage to like maybe push towers, for example.
Exactly right. Is to be able to take an objective afterwards. All right. What would be a different reason then?
Well, shut down like if we kill like he spent time dead, and time dead is like time not farming. So delay the like whatever hero's game.
Okay. Well, that's basically where it's not really the case. You don't actually delay heroes that much. That's what we talked about, right? Especially farming heroes. Even if you go and like smoke in the jungle and you kill Ursa who's farming, if all the towers stay up, then that doesn't really accomplish much because he's gonna respawn and he's gonna keep farming, right? And you also lose farm, in the time that you spent killing him. So the advantage is not really. It's not really happening, right? You can kill this Ursa again like 5 times, but eventually he will get farmed with his battlefield.
Yeah.
So, to slow somebody down is not really a good reason to kill them, to go for a kill. Okay, what will be a different reason? Because you said there's like several.
Well, like delaying someone like like when I in my head I was thinking that okay, when I delay, if I, for example, I kill the supports, it allows my supports to get to reach one timing before their supports, and then this makes our team like considerably stronger. Let's say, for example, if for example Lion gets some like Glimmer Cape before Jakiro get used, for example, I think that's a lot better for us. And of course, like amplifying my own net worth.
Aha, okay. So again, that's where it's like a common misconception, but um, I'm gonna write that down here as well. So I'm gonna make this bold. And the next follow-up point from this is getting a hero kill costs gold, right? And this is kind of hard to, counterintuitive, because you get the kill and then you get this, gold message pop up, right? Like 200 gold, awesome, right? It feels like you're farming essentially, but actually no, you're losing gold because the time you spend doing that is time that you're not farming. And 200 gold, I mean, a creep wave is about 150, so in a creep wave you farm much faster than getting a kill with less risk, etc. So getting a kill costs you gold, right? If your goal is to get very farmed, right, like Medusa's trying to get farmed, she's not running around trying to get kills, right? She's farming. Farming will always give you more gold. So it's not about getting gold. In fact, you're losing gold, and therefore you should be getting something else in return. So, or would you say there are any other reasons you could think of to get a kill?
Well, coming back to like amplify my farm, there is also like for me, I would think that making space for whoever is farming is another option.
And how are you making space, or like specifically?
Well, if the heroes are dead, for example, then my Medusa can farm like a bit more aggressive, knowing that no one will arrive, for example, to gank, or like it's a bit more safe farm for whoever is farming.
Is killing them the only way to do this?
Well, it's not. I think like maybe pushing or putting pressure on towers is a bit more important.
Like,
or it's like maybe easier way to do
imagine you're the Medusa. Like, do you need them to be dead so you feel safe farming?
Like, yeah, no, I just want to see them.
Exactly, there you go, right? So actually revealing and keeping the enemies busy already accomplishes that. Like, that's already space, right? Because then Medusa knows where they are and he's not gonna get caught. That's it. So you don't actually need to kill them for that to happen. Alright. And this is a very important distinction because getting a kill, so this is actually important, I'm going to write that down as well. Getting a hero kill usually costs a lot of resources, right? So apart from the gold, which I mentioned earlier, right? Resources means, time, mana, CDs, risk, information, right? Because you reveal your position. Yeah, all these things you basically give up to the enemy team in the process of getting a kill. And meanwhile, getting a hero to low HP usually doesn't require much. Right? You don't need to commit all your spells, right? Let's say in Void Spirit's case, it's pretty straightforward, right? Like, you got 2 Astral Steps, right? If you want to fully kill somebody, it usually means using both of them, and then you have no escape. Whereas if you're just trying to scare somebody, right, like, basically get them to low HP, you only need to use 1 Astral Step for that, and then you always have one ready to escape in case others commit.
Yep.
right? In that sense, it's way less of a risk. Low commitment play. And you're still forcing rotations, you're still probably gonna make more enemies rotate there, you're still revealing them, and you're still creating that space for your Medusa, right?
Yep.
So let's go forward. Yeah, unfortunately your Courier died with the Orchid. Now you kill Volker.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
So, yeah, what I'm trying to get at here is that both these rotations, so here where you TP'd bottom, okay, you kill both supports, Shaman uses snakes, so you kill both supports, Kunkka TP's out, right, you were looking for him, your 4 heroes gathered, what should happen now?
Like this bottom tower should die for sure.
This tower should die, right? But what do you guys do instead is like,
Nope.
everybody just go farms jungle and then runs away, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like these kills, they're not bad if you turn them into an objective, which easily could, right? You guys are all in position, nobody
Yeah.
was there to defend. Even though you don't have the best pushing heroes, like the tower would still die. I mean, it's just a tier 1, but yeah, nobody actually pushes it, and that's why it's important that when you make a play like that, when you get kills, you have this in mind, right? The kill isn't worth anything if you're not turning it into map control, right? If you're not actually getting objective, or at least tower damage, right? Even if you can't fully get the tower,
Yeah.
right? Let's say they immediately respawn and TP, okay, at least tower damage, right? Because next time you will get it. But getting a kill and then just farming jungle, it doesn't change the game at all. If anything,
Yeah, I mean, when they respawn, okay, they respawn 30 seconds later, and the map is still the same, basically.
exactly. And not to mention, not only are you not getting anything, you're actually losing something, because like we said, you're showing 4 heroes killing their 2 supports. So what does Ursa think? Oh, they're all bottom. I can farm whatever I want, right? Invoker also. I can just chill in the enemy jungle with my Midas, because I see that the whole enemy team is bottom, right?
Yeah.
So in this sense, I hope you're seeing like that this actually costs you something, even though at first glance, like, okay, we just killed these guys, nobody died, got some gold from it, awesome. But this is not for free, right? Something else is happening in the game also while you're doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, here your Courier died. Now, then you guys run here. I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing here, but
Yeah.
okay, you guys get an Evoker kill. Awesome. Alright. Now there's a bit of a fight. Kill Shaman too. Once again, 2 kills. This time not 2 supports, but it's core support. Again, Kunkka TP's out. Alright. This tower, I probably cannot get it entirely, but should at least hit it, right? Because you get these kills right next to it. This should be the reason to get these kills. You have a catapult
Yeah.
also. But yeah, Kunkka actually managed to sprint back immediately and just defense. So just get soloed somehow. Now you're hitting some ancients. Okay, get the Ursa kill. Yeah, you actually got the Orchid, you know, like quite a while ago, but it's just Courier was dead, so it ends up being like 16 minutes, which hurts quite a bit. And once again, kill a bunch of heroes and everybody leaves, and it only creeps under the tower. And you go for the same cap, yeah. Now you're TPing to catch this Evoker. Now, I'm noticing another trend in your moves so far, and this leads me to write like what I'm gonna write now is the most important one out of everything. Like, if there is one thing that you remember from all the coaching, it should be this one, right? And this applies to every role, right? Every position, every bracket, also any MR. I always tell this to all my students. This is how you look at the game. Always make the enemy react to you instead of you reacting. Right? This is super important, and I give you a bunch of examples for why this is the case. But pretty much all the moves you made so far, right? These 2 kills here, Invoker kill here, this fight here again, and now this TP. It's reactionary, right? It's not you saying like, I'm gonna go here and do this. It's more like, oh, the fight is happening, or oh, we see this guy. Okay, like we ran into this guy, let's get him. Right?
Yep.
So why is this a problem? Particularly this case is a good example. Where is this happening on the map, right? This is in your jungle. So what does that mean? Why is it important where this fight is happening?
Well, if I think it's like, okay, who can help? Like, who can from the Radiant team can get there and help? If it's happening on our jungle, then basically I'm almost sure that it's only these 2 guys and no one can, for example, TP to help.
Okay, that's true. Okay, anything else you could think of regarding this? Like, what is the best case scenario here, right? You kill these 2 guys and you save the Medusa.
Yeah, okay, like, we kill them, but then we cannot get objective after that.
Yeah, why? Because it's like in your jungle, it's so far away from anything. So best case scenario, you're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
Now, again, it might seem, weird because, okay, this is your carry, right? You gotta help him, blah, blah. But, again, this tower is right here. If you take this tower, it's so much of the map gets open. And Medusa doesn't have to be here. He can actually, farm the enemy jungle, and it's gonna be much safer for him. And it's his fault, actually, that he's caught here in the first place. I mean, why is he not in the triangle where there's a ward? Does he think Ogre's gonna farm the Ancients? Right, this guy's out of position, and it's not your job to save him when he gets caught here. He shouldn't be here.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now another thing, if you are, if this is a rotation and you're not reacting, right, but you are making on your own choice, would you rotate, right? Would you go and gank somebody the way this is looking right now?
Well, right now I'm noticing that I don't have resources, basically. I don't have mana to do much.
So if you had a plan like, okay, I'm gonna go, I don't know, jump this Kunkka and push bottom, or I'm gonna go fight and try to get bottom tower, and you see that you have 300 mana, obviously you're not gonna do it, right? First you're gonna get some clarities and mangoes.
Yep.
Alright. But because you're reacting, that's not the case, right? You're not set up, you're not prepared, because it's not your move. It's a reaction. So there's actually no chance you kill both of these guys. Maybe you get the Shaman, right? But not to mention the guy died like by the time your TP finished. So
Yep.
now
It was like bad TP for sure.
even the best case scenario now is like, okay, you get 1 Shaman kill, and
Best case scenario is I don't die myself now.
yeah, or that. So I actually use all your mana, but then end up dying as well. Yeah. Kunkka happened to be here, but what's important to realize, like, this doesn't matter, right? Like, who dies, who lives, right? Because you cannot base your decisions on stuff like that. You notice that a lot of these fights are decided by kind of like, simple mistakes, right? In this case, okay, you had no mana, maybe you didn't see that. In other cases, it's gonna be like somebody misclicking or whatever, having a weird build. But like, this specific outcome doesn't matter. What matters is where the fight is happening, because again, that's something specific. No matter how you execute, etc. Like I said, even if you super outplay them or they lag out and they go AFK, right? And you kill everybody, all that stuff. Like, no matter what happens, if it's on your half of the map, you're not turning that into an objective.
Yep.
And if it's on their side of the map, not only can you turn it into an objective, but also it goes both ways, right? It means that if you lose a fight on their side of the map, it's not so bad. Because you're less likely to lose a tower, right? Like, losing a fight in the enemy base, not the end of the world, because by the time they reach yours, you're gonna respawn probably.
Yeah.
But you lose a fight here, and you can just lose the game off of that. because they get everything afterwards. So the position of the fight, like where the fight is happening on the map, is super important. Now once again it's a fight where, well, they got Roshan and now you guys are all running here. Okay, managed to find Invoker somehow. I don't know what he was doing here.
Yeah, I misclicked actually.
Don't quite finish him.
I think I clicked minimap on disaster step, so instead of going to like Invoker, I jumped.
Ah, right. Accidentally jump back, yeah.
Yeah, so I clicked minimap. I think.
Still should definitely, I think you got a bit greedy here with the chain stun, because he managed to get off the tornado and the EMP before you hit him with the remnant. And he healed with magic wand, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you astral step, I mean, you should, add a remnant a bit sooner here. Even if you overlap the stun a little bit, it's better than, he gets to use his items and everything. It's like you jump pick some guy, you want to blow him up. If you, this is like a general team fight thing. If you show like 2-3 heroes or 4 to initiate on one guy and you don't kill him, you're almost always going to lose the fight afterwards, right? Because you revealed everybody's position. And the only way that's worth it is if then at least the fight is, 5v4 because you burst someone. If it's 5v5, but they know where everybody is, then you're going to lose the fight, right? So yeah, I mean, the fight goes really badly. Everybody dies. At least it was, an aggressive spot on enemy half of the map. Medusa escapes. But the thing with this move is like, why are you actually here? It's for this tower, right? Is this guy defending the tower? No, I mean, actually no one is in a position to defend the tower. So it's not you who has to be chasing him. If you hit the tower, he has to go on you.
You will show up, yeah.
Right? And that's very different. At the moment, enemies are behind the objective, then unless it's like a Zeus or a Tinker or something, they're not actually defending, right? So you can force them to go on you, and you don't have to chase them. And if they don't go to you, then you just get the objective, which is what you want in the first place. So. So they push, respawn, punish the return, triple kill. Alright, let's talk a bit about items again. So second item, you go Aghs, right? What can you do with Aghs that you cannot do without?
Well, in this case, nothing specific, but like my idea with Aghs is that I can commit Orchid on someone, and then still have silence for example, Shadow Shaman, or if someone else shows up, I can use it.
So basically, like you go in with the Aghs and save your Orchid for someone else.
I do the opposite. I
or
go
you
in
with
with
Orchid and you save the Aghs.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a little counterintuitive though, because the Resonant Pulse is part of your burst damage. So if you're saving that, then your burst is lower. But yeah, so when you take this, you need to, again, it's very, very important to be specific. Okay, because like with the Orchid, you were specific, right? You say, I'm trying to get these supports, right? And it makes sense also because supports will generally never have an item to deal with, Orchid. But cores can buy BKBs and stuff. Which, I mean, they didn't here, but in general. So, how do you picture this fight going? Like, if it's up to you. Imagine, right? Like, imagine the dream scenario. Like, there's a ward. You see everybody. You could pick your targets, right? They're not super stacked up, right? But you could pick your target more or less. Who are you jumping with the axe, and who are you targeting with Orchid?
I'm trying to jump. If I in a fight, in this case, I try to jump Shadow Shaman or Jakiro. Whoever maybe is easier to kill. Maybe Shadow Shaman, because it's like instant disable on me. And then I can just like.
And use
if we
Orchid
pop
on
him.
him.
Yeah, I Orchid Shadow. I mean, I think Orchid does damage too.
After 5 seconds, 30% that they got is, you know, as an extra nuke.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I usually use Orchid to like burst people.
But it's not really burst though, because it's after 5 seconds. And 5 seconds is not really burst, right? Like.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
If he buys any defensive item, right, like Glimmer, Bules, Force Staff, whatever, right, then I mean it's not exactly burst. So also like the Resonant Pulse 500 radius reaches 500, right? This has 900 cast range. So if you're jumping on the Shaman, it makes way more sense to, you know, actually kill him with the Resonant, silence him with 2 Resonant Pulses to kill him, and then use the Orchid on somebody who's not in range of the Resonant Pulse, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, you know, Kunkka, so he doesn't throw the boat, or Invoker, so he doesn't throw Tornado and interrupt you, right?
Yeah, for me it's like a bit counterintuitive, but I know it makes sense what you're saying. Like, for me it's like if I'm thinking about executing it in a fight, I will have like trigger finger on Orchid, and then I know that I'll pop it on the...
That's fine, but that's what I'm asking. Like, what are you trying? But then what's the Aghanims for? Because if you're jumping Shaman, the Aghanims is not gonna silence someone else because they're gonna be far away, right? And if your job is to just burst the Shaman, then, and you already have the Orchid to silence him, then why not get Deso, right? Isn't that gonna make it easier?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Deso is better than Axe, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like...
But for the purpose, I mean, I get what you're saying.
You need to be clear, like, why you're doing this, So... Yeah, I think Orchid can be fine, but then... I think even Orchid into Axe can also be fine. But then the purpose should be to, you know, jump one guy with the Axe silence and Orchid somebody else. If you're using both on the same target, it's kind of a waste.
Yep.
It's like buying Hex and using Orchid and Hex on Shaman, right? Like, what's the point?
I see.
So he X'd himself, you guys punish it. Blow him up. But don't really have much left afterwards, so everybody else dies. Try to get the Invoker. I mean, this was just, you know, like, after you miss initially, like, you have to accept that he's not dying. Because he still had 800 HP and Want and Aegis. And very last step, like your spell, your last Astral Step, you used to go in. So, like, there's no way that's gonna, you know, work.
Yeah.
By the way, in a little bit, I might have to, we'll have to take a short break. I'll have to be right back for like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. So, yeah, I think, I mean, the rest of the game, like, now, it's not worth looking at that much. Generally, when we, like, analyze replays, mostly look at the first half and, you know, the scoreboard, the heroes, and this item graph, right? Because this tells you more or less the story of the game. And everything that happens in the second half, right, it's built on mistakes from the first half.
Yeah.
So it's, you find yourself in situations that you shouldn't be in the first place. Like, for example, they have every single tower up, right?
I see.
and that's not because they defended super well, right? It's just because you guys didn't emphasize them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I imagine here, I mean, the game goes on for quite a while. Like they make some throws, probably. All right. But yeah, something else to point out here is that then you went for BKB after these items. So basically, this build at this point now it's looking a bit strange, because it's like you buy 2 different silences, but then you also buy BKB, right, to prevent spells. So it's like too much of this. If you were going BKB anyway, then you probably didn't need both Orchid and Axe.
Yeah, it's like you will not get spells with this item and this item, but just in case you do, I have also this other.
yeah, and yeah, which is kind of Also, none of these items address the Ursa in any way. Also, looking at what your team has and lacks, I feel like you guys actually do lack a little bit of damage. Because Offlane Ogre, right, he ends up being kind of like a third support.
Yeah.
Disruptor Lion are very heavy on the disable, but they don't offer much damage, right? And then you have a Medusa who eventually starts dealing damage, but again, it's more like a frontline, like steady DPS kind of carry. It's not exactly a burst damage kind of carry. So even though, personally, I don't like Void Spirit, to play him as a damage dealer, and like building, right click item, like this could have been actually a decent game for Deso because it boosts the damage of a Medusa and it helps you take objectives, which also, team kind of lacks. Might have been something to consider, or at the very least, just skip the Orchid, go early Axe, because that essentially gives you a lot of damage. It's like a AoE Dagon, right?
Yep.
And then you go for like a bunch of spell amp. You could buy Kaya San, just pretty nice. You can take the spell amp talent. Even this one is pretty good too. Obviously, it used to be the no-brainer choice, but they nerfed it so much, and they buffed the spell amp so much, so that now it's actually in a case like this, you can consider the spell amp.
I see.
I would always go for the stun though at 25. Even if you're going right click, the stun is just still so much better.
Distance just so good.
So much better than some shitty crit. Yeah.
So I actually played like Void Spirit match today, like a little bit before, and I was thinking that okay, maybe I will use this match. I was thinking like okay, I will play one match now and let's use that for the replay, but then it was kind of stompy for us, so I decided to go with this one, which I remember that like. It was not the stomp. I just remember that Invoker was like in my head at least like owning the game.
Yeah.
For them.
I mean, we could check out the other replay just in terms of your build. That could be interesting. Just to check out what build you went. So here went Orchid, Eggs into Travels Octarine. So yeah, here I can see if I imagine like how a fight normally goes, especially as Spectre Haunt revealing everybody. 2 key heroes to silence are Shadow Demon and Mars. And they usually are not standing next to each other, right? Shadow Demon backliner, Mars frontliner. So with these items, you can jump on the SD, burst them with the Axe, and then Orchid the Mars in the meantime. So he doesn't.
Yeah, in this game was quite the team that we would, for example, start anti-mage. Or like not always, but eventually it was like we would start anti-mage, and then you would get saved from Shadow Demon, or use Manta, for example. But I still had like few silences to keep hit up for some time still.
Yeah.
Wait for stuns and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is good. And then Octarine, actually buffs, works well with the other items, right? Because it reduces cooldowns, allows you to silence even more often, boosts the range of the Orchid even a little bit, although it's not that relevant. Let's see here, you're against Shadow Fiend. So you went the same build. I would say it's honestly quite rare. Like you don't really get much out of maxing the Resonant Pulse. Think about it. What are you using the spell for mostly in the lane stage, for example?
Yeah, clearing wave. And I noticed that it's like, I don't know why I noticed now that it doesn't deal so much damage as I thought it would, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, it does like 300 damage nuke, but it's not the case.
Well, the Disseminate is more, right? So no, it's not actually about clearing the wave, because if clearing the wave is your goal, then the Disseminate is better. It's more damage. No, you generally use this to secure the range creep, right? So we're looking at, in the same way, which skill point actually makes a difference, right? It's mostly the second one, because 70 damage, it's not bad, but it's close to the right click damage of a lot of heroes. So
yeah,
it can still be contested.
With 1 point you can still secure it, but you have to like right click
as well. Yes,
right click and pulse.
Yeah, with 2 points you can only pulse, right? And I guess most heroes you're gonna get it every time.
Yeah.
So that's like a reason to get it to level 2. But after that, there's not that much value. Compare that to the other spells, the cooldown stays the same. But for example, Dissimulate, the cooldown goes way down, and the clear value point is which level? Like which level actually changes something significant?
Like from level 2 is like almost double the damage.
Yes, but is there any level that?
I mean, okay, yeah. Like level 4, you can just like cue the range creep.
One shot the range creep. Yes,
thinking,
that's a very big deal when it comes to clearing the wave, because it doesn't require any right clicks. Like, so clear reason, right? Like something that happens with level 4 of the spell, you cannot do with other levels of the spell. Unlike the pulse, where it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Well, I just noticed Resonant Pulse is kind of shit.
And then the other Remnant, the damage and the duration is pretty shitty. So mostly the reason to level it up is the cooldown. With that being said, right, this is your only disable, and it makes a difference. The difference between 17 and 11 generally is being able to use it once or twice in a gank or a fight. Generally, that's the difference you're looking at. I'll say only at the max level can you realistically, right? You initiate with it, and you're like chasing, fighting, and then you can use it again. And if it's level 1, you generally just have it once. Yeah. All right. So that's on the skill build.
I actually feel a little bit retarded that I never noticed this skill build is wrong.
I mean, don't feel right. That's the that's the point of the coaching, right? And that's why again this question, right? Think critically, and for item builds and for skill builds, right? Just ask yourself this: like, why am I doing this, right? Like, what am I trying to accomplish? If you are, let's say, Offlane Void Spirit, then I could see more reason to max the Resonant Pulse, because you're hitting 2 heroes, right? The shield is a bit more relevant. You're probably against like a physical right click, right? Carry.
Yeah. And
then it matters a little bit more. But on mid, you don't really care about the shield anyway.
Yeah. It makes total sense.
Yeah. All right, so this is on Void Spirit. Now, so we did about an hour. If you want to do a live game, we can.
Yeah, works for me.
Still, yeah, I'm just not sure. So with live game, I watch, with the coach function in game or Dota Plus watching, but you need to be friends for that. And because we recently added each other, sometimes it bugs out.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
If it doesn't work, are you able to screen share also?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, should I queue for one then?
So yeah, if you feel ready, you can go ahead and queue. Before you get into the game, I strongly recommend you mute all incoming chat, because like it's gonna be very overwhelming for you to listen to me and listen to your team.
So no incoming shot. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if you've done live coaching before, but it's you shouldn't expect to play your best. Again, it is gonna be a bit distracting.
Yeah, I did. I did a few times.
I'm not gonna talk too much about small stuff. I'm also gonna help you with decisions, where to play, right, and like help you decide on item builds.
Yeah.
Idea.
Mhm. I think it's not much about micromanagement, and it's more like decision making.
Yeah. Ideally, you pick Void Spirit because we just talked about him, right? But I see you play a lot of Puck, so
Yeah.
could take Puck too, of course.
So I will just kill now if it's okay for you.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll also 30 seconds.
Alright.
I'll go to toilet.
Not casting Brahma, come on, bro. Yeah. I actually watched game 2, was mega hype. A bit sad that I'm missing game 3, but what can you do? Gotta get the money, you know?
And I'm back.
Welcome back. Yeah. I will still have to BRB at one point.
Yeah, no
but
problem.
it's gonna be short.
Thinking about skills a little bit. So, for example, Puck. It also has this on level 10 talent. I take a lot of like 25 plus damage, but I guess it's same category of the of what we mentioned before. Maybe actually not, because phase shift doesn't do damage.
Well, it depends. So if you're buying Blink, then the 4 point in phase shift is very relevant, right? Because the
Yeah.
duration actually lets you blink reliably. I mean, Puck is pretty big topic. I would say there's like two main builds for Puck: right click and magic oriented. Most people play the right click, but magic damage Puck is I would say better in a lot of cases. But if you do pick Puck, right, I would say it's better if you just do it with your build for this game, and I'm just gonna help you with the moves. But talking about Puck specifically in the build, we can do that maybe another time, because if you're in a game right now, we're not gonna have time to show you and everything. Yeah.
I did find a match now.
Okay, nice. Yo, sleeping. Coaching right now. Play troll carry 11-0. You're welcome, you're welcome. Not sure how I help with that game, but...
I don't know if you can see
Alright.
the game already. Whoops.
Now it showed up. Yeah, I had to wait for everybody.
You can see like big face.
Yeah, I can see it now, I can see it, yeah. So,
Oh, okay, okay.
you have Ogre again, Ogre Oracle, they have Phoenix Dawnbreaker. Razor Void, interesting. I mean, pretty much no such thing as a bad Void Spirit game. There you go. As the Phoenix, 2 heroes that, you want to jump.
Mm-hmm. I'm a bit worried about like PL. But well, it will depend if I can get silence. But in this game, usually I would pick Puck just because I can like better control PL. But I can go Void Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, Void Spirit is also fine. You can go for it.
Okay, let's go then.
Yeah, maybe Puck would be decent too, but I think since we specifically work now.
Yeah, sure. And so to start, I think last match I went for.
You went Mantle Circuit, Quelling, and
Yep.
Tangos, I think. Yeah.
But now I might.
You could
not
try
even-
instead to do Quelling Mantle and 1 or 2 branches.
Yep, that's what I'm going for here. So as the patch went on a little bit, I'm basically trying to get like first bottle, a bottle before first 2-minute run, and then we can go 1.
Yeah.
Although like with Quilling Blade, it's a little bit of gold, so I think for example with ranged, this is a bit more effective, but.
No, it's still doable. I mean, Arc Warden doesn't have that much damage first couple levels, not very good at denying, so should be okay.
I do not concern myself with the bag, for I know its contents
Well, this guy took both wards, I guess. He gave me 1 now.
It's in the bag. I sense a connection between us.
30 seconds to battle.
It's looking spicy.
The battle begins.
Yeah, you have to. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, the FPO arc, super greedy, so you should be able to punish that lineup.
This one was not for you.
So yeah, level 3 you get another pulse, and then I think you just max the dissimulate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh nice, easy range deny.
Yeah.
Alright, you got bottle. Send it out ASAP for the water runes. Arc can't really shove the lane well, so if you manage to, you can auto attack creeps here, try to push, and then maybe even get both runes. Yeah, like you're... yeah. I think you have time to try and get both with the bottle, which is gonna mean you're like
It's
absolutely
Nice.
full with extra charges, yeah.
the usual pauses.
Yeah, well, this gives you a little bit of time to think. Build wise, I think because of the PL, it's a good idea to just go straight Ags. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you necessarily need an Orchid this game.
Yeah, when I go straight eggs, I almost never go, like, let's say 90% of the times, I go straight Orchid.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 10% is like, if I have a bad game, then I go Eos, for example. Or if they have, like, let's say Storm, that I'm afraid that it can get Orchid before me, or can jump me easier, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go Eos for the Dispel.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, like, some people just go Eos, it's a lot easier to initiate. Okay.
It's up to you. I don't think you need the Yules this game. Their cores aren't very mobile. Plus, yeah. Again, if you feel a lot more comfortable with the Orchid Rush, you know, just go for it.
Yes, I was going to say that when I go like Aghanims first, I usually get like maybe 2 or 3 no talismans
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
to not be so. I mean, to have a bit more damage. Meanwhile,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the build I would recommend for this game. Because again, you have Ogre Oracle, which is like not very damage heavy. And yeah, you could go like full magic damage build with like a couple nulls, Ags, playing around Spell Amp.
that feels kind of nice.
And yeah, because both Arc and PL are quite greedy, it will be nice to, if you get a rune or at level 6, etc., to rotate, kill the Dawnbreaker, right? That's their frontliner. If Dawnbreaker has a bad game, they have no frontliner, so. Yeah, you get boots now and then get a couple more talismans after. So many runes, so much mana.
Yeah,
What
that's
to do
nice
with it.
for dispatch.
Yeah, yeah. Right, you can run grab a water rune. I think grab the pulse by habit, but
Oh, yeah, for sure. I might
yeah,
die
you
here.
shouldn't fight them. No, just keep running. Like you have shield, you have dissimulate soon. Just keep running, keep running. You don't have to. Yeah. Sorry, I said keep running, but I meant keep running. My bad. Yeah. Um,
That's my superpower. Keep dying.
Your middle tower
I was tempted.
Oh, he's also very low now and he's pretty much out of mana. If you hit 6 from these 3 creeps, you can just go for him. When your other spells... You actually don't even need the other spells. Ah,
Whoops.
wow, you're missing like 2 experience. Oh well, whatever, fuck it. Oops. Oh. Yeah, shove the lane here, he left to regen. So you can steal their bounty rune, now it's 6 minutes. They, like, nobody should be able to fight you there. And as you're stealing the bounty, you can also swing top like that and backstab, just kill the Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, I can try.
It's very convenient. Just make sure you keep your 2 astral steps for that. Yeah, go for it now, go for it now. No need to... It's perfect, like Dawnbreaker's already kind of low. They're already killing the Phoenix.
Oops.
Oh, 2 bounties,
Two
even
bounties.
better. Alright, pinger, so your team follows up. I mean, I don't know what Oracle's doing. You
Yeah, I'm
could
coming.
pretty much solo him, but yeah, it's still good if they... Nice, very good. I go back to mid.
Got DD.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight him. Dissimulate. So, oh wait, you're not 7 yet. But at 7 you take Dissimulate.
I'm just like did like this point. I totally forgot about, and it
Careful.
took it anyways.
Yeah. Chill a little bit. Yeah, your bounty might still be here. I'll just remind you when you hit level 7. I'll remind you, and I'll shout
Yeah.
Dissimulate.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Now I remember. No mistakes made.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, and now Aghanims. Phoenix around.
Be neutral items now. Trinket would be the dream. Or nothing.
Unlucky as hell.
Action rune in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't fight him. Stronger.
I want
You gotta-
rune.
I gonna.
That was bad.
Alright, that was just a panic move. I mean,
Yeah.
when you don't have creeps
Uh,
around, you can't really tank the.
Yeah, that was a bit greedy with first auto step. I was waiting like see if rune would spawn, but
Yeah.
took quite a bit of damage from it.
It's not the biggest deal. You can buy the staff now. Yeah. Get another TP. You should have a TP ready after you TP mid, so.
Really might be able to kill him.
He's just solved. You wanna wait till you have 2 steps again. Alright, so yeah, the rotation top was to kill the Dawnbreaker. If you rotate bottom, it's gonna be to pressure the tower. So I think not yet, but maybe when you get max dissimulate here again. I'll level it up. Yeah. Now you can roll. You can run bottom. You don't have to force it. Every time you push the wave, right? It gives you time to just be near bottom, see what's up. They're both full
Yeah, do you
HP.
think-
They're both full HP.
So should I go now or?
No need. You could go back to mid. Oh, sorry, I have to be right back now for about 3 minutes. Sorry about that. Owl?
Can go bot. Can go bot.
This will hasten my footfalls. Discreetly.
Your top tower is under attack.
It's looking spicy.
I restore my connection to the void.
Dark structures are fortified.
Yep. Nothing much happened. There was we got a kill in the jungle. Tried to gank with haste bottom, but did not work.
We got the tier 1 bottom though, which is good. I should care as DTPing. Oof. Yeah, don't commit for him.
Okay.
I guess it might be fine, but a little risky.
Yeah, not ideal.
Action rune is gonna be up. Maybe bottom, it's regen top.
Your top tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
well, you got bottom, so yeah, next tower you wanna aim at is a tier 1 mid, and also defend your tier 1 mid.
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen.
So when is actually like good time to get the talent?
Well, pretty much when you have everything else maxed. In fact, I would even take the level 15
yeah.
talent before the
Okay.
level 10 talent. Bounty runes, but I'll just pressure the wave. And when you're hitting this wave, you want to stand like so actually diagram vision. It's a bit dangerous. Okay.
Like this.
Getting close to Ags. Yeah, Dawnbreaker's already super tanky, which sucks, but okay, your team wants to smoke. You could try to wrap around mid potentially like this. Use this ward that you have. But you're 300 off of Axe, so you really shouldn't make this move now. Try to finish the Axe and then fight. Like. Oracle is helping. Yeah. Try to finish the Axe, keep defending mid. And with the Axe you can make a move where you... Yeah. It's gonna allow you to pretty much insta-kill the SD. Make sure he doesn't save anybody. Avoid fighting here if possible, just try to clear the creeps. Don't commit on the egg. They only killed Ogre, it's not the biggest deal, and they used the egg for that. Okay, that's your Axe coming. Okay, nice. Alright, very cool.
Nice.
That guy's not egg. This has to be tower, you know, in return now. Go for their tier 1. Ultra kill for Razor, that's not something you see very commonly.
That's good. That's super good.
Yeah. Okay, you don't have the best tower pushing heroes, but just hit it. Like, there's no backdoor, just hit it. Fuck it. Like, it has to die now, because otherwise it's not that good of a fight. If you... Like, yeah, you kill them, but they took your tower, so you gotta get the tower in return. Put Remnant like this, perfect. He already did it as I was saying it. Alright, so yeah, now it's very good, because you trade towers, but also, you know, you got ultra kills, so... It's looking good for you. Now the next tower pretty much is this one. You know, at some point, obviously tier 2, it's... You can't just force it, but it just means you want to play in this area. Keep showing the waves, get these camps, and... You know, slowly work on that tier 2. There's also tier 2 neutral items. I guess you could take the mana regen talent this game, because yeah, if you go Ags, you don't have mana regen item.
Yeah.
And like, if you take the talent, if you take the mana regen talent, it's okay to take it now because, well, you need the mana now. So.
And I will just take this for now.
Yeah, or get the. Okay.
Okay.
You don't have mana for all the spells. Keep in mind. So.
Okay,
nice.
Anything, in fact.
Team found them. Yeah. So
Okay,
I mean,
works.
this with the mana, it's very important. Like, you need to never drop basically below, like, especially when your mana pool is big, you cannot afford to drop below like 30% unless it's a huge team fight. And the moment you do, you need to recover it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're not at full strength. It doesn't matter that you have this Ags if you actually don't have mana to cast everything, right? Yeah, you should definitely use the Vambrace. But yeah, so that means like you can't afford to use these spells to clear some Mud Golem camp, right? Because now again you're weak, right? You don't have shit to fight with. You can
Yeah, I see.
you can't even cast all your abilities once, so yeah, definitely grab that mana regen talent at 14. Send out not just some clarities but also some mangoes.
Just get out.
Yeah, just have to TP out.
Hopefully it works. Yeah.
Okay, Void's committing now. It might actually be okay though. Yeah, I'll get saved.
I try to get phase boots now.
I think might be a good game to go Travels because you're like none of the other cores have them, so you will need somebody to fix lanes. But also both your supports are pretty shit at pushing lanes. Nice. Shadow Demon is dead.
I don't like this a lot.
PL is very low also. Nice, yeah, bottle, just spam bottle, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. I'll just take this mana talent now.
Bottle, bottle, bottle. During the Oracle, it's double healing. Yeah. Alright, nice. There's a haste bottom. Grab the haste. You don't have any astral steps right now, so. Yeah, I would say travels into Shivas looks pretty good. It's gonna help you deal with all the healing from Phoenix and Dawnbreaker. It's very strong as PO, obviously. And it's gonna give you even more burst on your combo, AoE burst. So also Illusion Clear. Could see if they're take their bounty. It's 21 minutes actually. Nice. So yeah, you wanna play this area mostly. Keep showing the lane. If you're farming jungle camps, it's best if it's there. Okay, some body blocks. I'm not sure what Oracle's doing. Oh, go back. Like, if you have no astral steps, there's no way you're running towards them. Yeah. Just wanna play bottom. There's gonna be action runes soon. Arcorden has blade now, that's interesting.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Trying to get his courier.
Radiant's courier
Nice.
has been killed.
Spicy.
Try to find the ward there. So remember, in fights, your target is Shadow Demon. Always.
Okay.
Astral Step. You know, double pulse with the Remnant, and you should be able to blow him up 100 to 0 every time. And you save one Astral Step to get out. Yeah, he's like somewhere here. Oh, you found him. Nice. Alright, careful now.
I don't
Go
see
back.
him.
If you miss the Remnant, you gotta care afterwards. Void caught PL with the DD. So, okay, see Shadow Demon? Okay, it was that anyway, but go push bottom, get the clarity going. If you're not sure what to do, you should default to pushing a lane, right? Not jungling, right? You're playing as PO Arc. It's not in your favor to trade farm, and that's what you do when you jungle. So Arc has Gleipnir, which is very annoying.
It makes me wanna go BKB a little bit.
Yeah, BKB seems like a good choice. It's also good against the mana burn of PL. You go BKB and then Shivas.
Your top tower is under attack.
So keep pushing bottom until they come. And you always want to prioritize creep waves also. Like only jungle if there are no creep waves to be pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Your top tower is under attack.
There's a haste rune bottom again. Okay, Razor's getting Shivas, that's actually nice. So maybe you don't have to. Oracle Super Dead, try to grab the haste. You can maybe blow up Shadow Demon. Just that, ooh.
I did not feel so good about that.
That was very risky, but I mean you want to use the Remnant always after the first step, because then they're 80% slowed and it guarantees, or 60%, and it guarantees that the Remnant hits. So the sequence is Remnant, Step, Pulse, Remnant at the same time. Then you dissimulate, because while the Remnant is pulling them, right, you hit the dissimulate.
Yeah.
That's your combo generally.
Is this guy dead?
Oh
Shit.
my god, that
Almost.
was way too close. He definitely underestimated that clone. Okay, that was kind of it. Not sure why you didn't Remnant there, and also you want to chain the silences in that situation, but anyway, it worked out.
Yeah.
Care for the egg, you can't kill it. Nice.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Care for Gleipnir. Yeah, it's annoying ass lineup. Action rune might be top, could be a regen.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can shove top a little bit. The objectives top are useless, but you can, if you shove the wave, you can force somebody else to be there, and then you TP bottom.
It's looking spicy.
Yeah, Ark is constantly shoving that with his clone. It's got a blink now.
I'm not going there, I think.
Well, remember, no if you're not going top, then you TP bottom and push that, right? No camps. Where you, again, you got
So,
to...
like the stepping bottom they play now?
Yeah, just
I'll
you
just
can TP
clear.
bottom and push it, or push this, right? But push a wave, don't farm camps. Also, you really want to avoid using the Astral Step for this because you know it's a pretty big cooldown and you need that to fight. So only use Astral Step if you're absolutely sure you won't fight. Yeah, you can just take the next wave. Get your BKB. Now you could TP bottom.
I don't want kinda because Void is there already.
Oh, there's a ward.
There's a ward here.
Yeah.
They just put it, so someone was smoked.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Glimmer
Alright.
Cape.
Okay, now I mean you could farm a camp or two just to finish your BKB. You're very, very close to it. You want to have that before the next fight for sure. Also, Ceremonial is probably better for you than the Vambrace. Yeah, it's more damage.
Which one?
Ceremonial Rope.
Hmm.
Okay, Ogre took it, fuck it. There's one more tier 3 item, maybe that's gonna be for you.
It's this. There's not anymore.
Yeah, I mean there's one more left to find.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, that's your item, yes. This will help you. Burst the SD, it's the passive Dagon. Okay,
Kinda
look
want
at,
to
look at
get
PL, look at PL bottom, if that's real. That you could just TP there and go for him. I don't think they're in position. Or just run at him. Yeah, it's real. He used Doppel even. You see the real one now. Again, you want to chain the silences. Okay, now the rest of the team is here, so just look to jump SD if you can. Look for the Shadow Demon. He has Glimmer Cape.
Yeah, yeah.
Razor already used his BKB, this doesn't look good. Maybe just back off. Fight on your wards. Yeah, you have Dust, that's good. Desolator on Dawnbreaker. Okay, you see SD. He was like here somewhere. Right next to you. Oh shit. Oh, you gotta run now.
Optimistic.
Oh my god, he chronoed the egg. At least he got it, but
Okay, not good, not good.
disaster fight. No, so after he gets the disruption, you have to back, right? There's no way you can still go for him. Like, if he gets the first cast like that, it means they'll be ready, right? It's no longer you jumping him, it's like, it's him jumping you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
And, oh, you have Glyph? Wait, do you? Yeah, you have Glyph. Never mind.
Your bottom
Tier one.
tower has fallen. Your middle tower
And when you jump him, you want to kill him before he uses spells, right? Which the most important spells are the ulti and the disruption, so...
Yeah.
If he's already cast disruption, then it's not that high priority of a target.
your middle tower
Kind of want Void to go BKB.
This build is a bit weird. I think he should go Mjolnir, right? Because he doesn't really have the damage right now. But whatever he goes, definitely not Butterfly. That's... Butterfly is bad for sure. Okay, he is going BKB after all.
It's switch, yeah. Hey.
Keep pushing. No, don't go for the camp. Keep pushing. Remember, like, especially when all the waves are pushed on your half, you cannot afford to farm camps. You're not even close to an item or anything, so... Top room.
We got it.
Oh, it's spawning now. Okay, nice, DD.
Sure. Okay, now I don't know what to do a little bit.
Okay, keep pushing in mid and bottom. I mean, even though that fight was bad, like, you didn't lose too much out of it because it happened on their side. Okay, PL TP'd bottom, right? So, you could either force the fight somewhere else, and PL is not there. Or you try and catch the PL if he stays, but he's not gonna keep going. I mean, it looks like they're pacing for Roche, so you can walk bottom and save your TP to TP, right? Like, to outpost or mid.
So, yeah, but, like, I don't get it. Why should I go bottom now?
To force somebody there. Oh, this is a clone. Okay, you see SD. Good jump SD. Alright, clone
Okay.
used. PL's on you.
I got bashed.
Nice, you got Lawbreaker. Marquez Swift Link. It's pretty farmed.
Oh,
So many Gleipnirs. Just gotta get the base.
is under attack.
yep.
Yeah, his Mindbreaker too. I mean, he avoid chronoed SD, which is good, but then he also chronoed the egg, which is obviously not good. If he got the Phoenix before the egg, it could have been nice, but... But you saw the SD, right? So, yeah. Again, the idea behind going bottom was to push the wave, force somebody there, so they're not there for the Roche fight. Yeah, buyback here, Razor's up.
And Void is back up too.
Yeah. I'll try to catch the Phoenix. He's burstable. No backup from the team though, sadly.
Okay, this Arcord is a bit annoying.
Yeah, I mean the Oracle very farmed and now it's very difficult to deal with him. But this to be expected, right? Like Arc PL late game is always gonna be stronger. That's why we wanted to force these moves more earlier. Yeah, I don't think he played bad. Like it was a tough game. Your team wasn't, you know, feeding, but you know they didn't play particularly well either. But yeah, I'm getting like a more clear picture also together with the replay, right? Like, I would say the biggest thing that you should work on is, yeah, playing more active and not so reactive, right?
Yeah.
This game especially, like every single time, I mean I mentioned it a few times, right, with the jungle camps, but like think of it this way, every time you farm a jungle camp, right, you're like getting closer to the late game, right? You're trading farm. And if the enemy has Arc PL, which is like really one-sided late game, yeah, you're like actively losing, right? Every time you hit a camp, you're losing, right? Because the game is getting harder for you, easier for them. Like Arc wasn't really doing shit until he had, let's see, Midas, Travels, Blade, no Gleipnir, which admittedly he got those pretty fast, 23 minutes, but still, before that moment he was barely in the game.
Yeah.
Right. You had a very good axe timing, 16 minutes. It's very quick. So yeah, both in like the making moves, forcing stuff, and also for the fights themselves, it felt like I mean your execution is good. It's just a couple times like this small hesitation that really ends up costing, right? Like both at their outpost bottom and in this last mid fight.
Yeah.
Like if you jump and silence the SD, or if he, you know, disrupts somebody, this can make all the difference. Like it might sound silly, but this can decide the whole fight.
Yeah, I actually didn't see. I heard you saying that like shadow damage there before I actually see him. Before I actually saw. So like
okay.
It's maybe a bit worse than hesitation. It's like not looking at minimap or pay attention to what's going on.
It could be the camera thing, yeah. Unfortunately, when I'm watching you with like the coach live function, I can't see your player perspective.
Okay, yeah.
That kind of sucks. It's just and then if I watch live, I can see your perspective, but then I cannot draw or ping. So
yeah, I see.
Bit limitations, but yeah, if the replay is not up yet. Oh yeah, it just came up. Okay, we're already just a bit over 2 hours, but I'm just gonna show you real quick that moment with the SD, because yeah, it could completely turn everything.
I see.
Who gets the jump there? Yeah, that'll be the last thing. Check out. And yeah, as for that moment, again, like this last fight to make like the stalemate, you don't want to just sit back and wait for the enemy to come to you, right? Because when are they gonna come to you? When they're strong, right? So that's why, like, if you walk bottom, the idea behind that play is that you force somebody to rotate, right, to defend. Then you TP mid or outpost, and you could try fight 5 versus 4, right, around Roche.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't think Roche even died this game, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it ended up not being a thing, but yeah. So here, I can see they already had a small lead. Their 2 cores a little bit ahead, but the game is still completely winnable. Now you guys are kind of pacing, they're kind of pacing, both teams have a ward. Let's see, was this the fight? Yeah, so let me see your players. Oh, no, okay, this was the other time.
This was one, yeah.
You did actually jump in, and this should have been a free kill, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Like, I missed the remnant.
Yeah, that's why
he was like juking a little bit on the trees.
I mean, you can jump right here. Like, you could try to do a blind jump, like right here, because he probably, like, he's walking. You can see the trees, right? Either he's walking this way or this way, so you just take a guess. I mean, what you did is also okay. You just walked there because you ended up finding him. But then now the play is like, insta remnant just this way, like insta silence and remnant this way. I mean, the guy should die here. Like, come on, you have so much burst. You don't even need all your spells
Everything.
to kill him, right? He only has 1 HP, nothing defensive, right?
Mhm.
Remnant, pulse, 1 step, and 1 dissimulate. You still have 1 pulse and another step left for the rest of the fight. But he should die here instantly. Yeah, just the remnant was this way instead of down, so yeah.
Yeah.
And then the laser came. And after this happens...
Actually, like with this map is a bit easier to see the trees, but I didn't notice like this was the path.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I really like this map, especially here. It's a little bit
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
to win, right? Here you actually see the exact...
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, after this happens, there's another like general thing. Like, if it doesn't go according to plan, okay, you missed whatever, shit happens. Now you have to abort, right? There's no way you still go for this. Like, you have to jump away. You already took quite a bit of damage.
Mhm.
But I think because you ended up like walking here and you tanked the full laser, the laser is an insane amount of damage, man. Like, that's not a spell you want to be tanking like this. Because now you're 1/3 HP and it's like you can't fight at all.
And I had 2 remnants too. I mean 2 extra steps.
Yeah, just use one of them and like cut your
Yeah,
losses, right? Then I mentioned like he chronoed the PL. I'm not sure if you saw that at your tier 2.
I saw that something was going on. There.
Yeah. Okay, so you see that chrono, and since I mean this should be insta TP because you don't want to be here anyway, right? Okay, the move didn't work out. Shit happens. And you see PL with DD chronoed at your tier 2. Completely solo, right? Because you know that nobody else is here.
Mhm.
That should be insta TP to try and punish it, right? Granted, it is a reactive move, right? But you don't have a better move right now. So... Again, there's so many options. If you're not that, then you go push this wave. But whatever you decide to do, it's not to hit the jungle camp, right?
I see.
You cannot...
Yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I noticed that especially maybe this patch I'm farming jungle more as mid, and then sometimes even with like heroes like Puck for example, then I'm like minute 12, 13, and I'm like still never left mid lane, and then it's like pushing mid, farm jungle, push mid, farm jungle, and I think that hero should be a bit more active, or I should be like moving to other lanes too.
Yeah, so summary there as general rule, like only farm jungle. There are pushed anywhere. Even if the wave that you can push is far away, it's still better use of your time to run to it than to farm camps, right?
Yeah.
And also follow up to this. There is no such thing as farming a camp on the way, right? If you're running to push if you're pushing a creep wave, if you're making a move, it's time sensitive always. If you're pushing a creep wave, like an empty lane, you need to do that first. The camp will always be there, but the empty lane is not always going to be empty, right? The opportunity to rotate is not always going to be like what I mentioned, for example, with mid. You push out the wave, you go for the rune. Like this guy's busy at the tower, you're taking the rune, you're here anyway, half the way to bottom. Might as well rotate to bottom a little bit, see if you can get an opportunity. Yeah. But if you take the rune and okay, let me just farm a camp on the way to bottom, like those 10 seconds, all of a sudden, okay, this guy's not at the tower anymore. The next wave is coming, it's at your tower, it becomes obvious, your tower's taking damage, right? It doesn't work, right? If you're close to an item or you have some specific reason, or you're like late game hero, whatever, and your goal is to farm, okay, farm the jungle, and then that's your goal. But if that's not your goal, then you need to be doing shit, right? You can't just like, oh, there's nothing to do, let me just farm a camp.
Yeah.
Alright. That only happens, first of all, if you're ahead, right? Because all the waves are pushed. And also that generally means then that you're farming enemy camps, right? So like pushing this wave to the tower, and somebody TPs, and then you like take a second to farm this camp until the creeps come again, that's okay, right? Because you're applying some pressure, you're doing something. But like farming this camp, you're not having any impact on like you're on your half of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like the move that only your carry should be doing, really.
I see.
All right.
Cool.
Let's call it here. Yeah, we're at about 2 hours. I think
Mm-hmm.
I have a good amount of stuff here to try and work on. So yeah, the biggest thing I can say, try playing a couple of games where you come up with a plan, and also don't worry about if your plan is good or not. Okay, that's not a big deal. You can have like the worst plan ever, right? Even if your plan is like kill the support 15 times by Dagon 5, like at least if you have that plan and you execute it and you lose, then you can learn something from the game, right? You can be
Yep.
like, okay, rushing Dagon 5, I did it, we lost, probably a bad idea, right? Not gonna do it again.
Yeah.
But if you kind of just, don't commit to anything and you just wait for the enemy to make their moves and then eventually you win or lose, like what can you learn from that, right? You didn't commit to something. You can't make the conclusions. The game is not so useful.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll try some games where you come up with a specific plan, do your best to execute it, see what happens, and then you can try and learn from those games. And I guess for next time we could maybe also work on Puck.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes. I'm gonna send you a link to my Discord, coaching Discord. This is where I have all students. So if you have any questions, you can ask me there. You can see questions by others. And yeah, game discussion or game questions channels. You can also
Yeah, nice.
react with your location and then your location channel, like some people looking for party.
Mhm.
The average MR is definitely lower than yours though, so yeah, up to you.
Okay.
Also, if you can leave me a review on Gamer Sensei, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, that's it for now, man. Good luck,
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
and
See you.
I'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Are you still supposed to push race if they have kill potential on you? Sometimes it feels like if you go push lane, you just risk getting killed. Well, obviously you should. I mean, this depends on a bunch of things, right? Like what position you are. As a hero like Void Spirit, like it takes a lot of heroes to kill you. I mean, most mid heroes, it takes a lot of heroes to kill you, and you should be able to notice if that many heroes are missing. All right. But I mean, looking at, again, like when you're playing Void Spirit against these heroes, like you could be anywhere on the map and it's going to be safe as long as you have 2 steps and a TP scroll. You can always escape. If you're playing like a very static hero like Medusa, of course, can't quite just be anywhere you want. But that's why, those are generally carries and they take the safe farm. And if you're like a support Jakiro, then it's not a big deal. If you push 3 waves, reach the tower, and then you get ganked and die, that's not a mistake, right? That's giving information to your cores. You're actually still getting farm in the process, etc. Alright, I believe we have one more lesson. Let's see. I'm gonna. I think yeah, that might be it then for tonight after all. Because let's see if I can. Need to add nickname. Alright, I guess after all, gonna call it for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, that's gonna be it, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Yeah. Bye bye.